Bobby Joe Long. Bobby Joe Long was born October 14, 1953. He was also known as the ad man rapist and the classified ad rapist. His characteristics were rape and murder. The number of his known victims is more than 10. The date of his murders were between March 28th and November 11th, 1984. He was arrested November 16th, 1984. His murder methods were strangulation, shooting, and cutting the throats of some of his victims. The location of his known crimes was the Tampa Bay area in Florida. Background: Bobby Joe Long was born with a genetic mutation giving him an extra X chromosome, and during puberty he developed breasts like a female. This resulted in severe teasing by other children, and after his parents separated, he slept in his mother's bed until he was a teenager. The relationship between him and his mother was dysfunctional, largely because she went through a series of boyfriends who only ever lasted a brief period. He also suffered a number of head injuries as a child, but it is not clear what these were or how they occurred. In 1974, he and his high school girlfriend got married, and they went on to have 2 children. The marriage was short-lived, and she filed for divorce in 1980. A year later, he would embark on a long and violent period of raping women. He would go through advertisements for appliances, and if the advertiser was a woman who was alone, he would rape her. He was arrested for rape in 1981 and convicted, but he requested a new trial and the charges were eventually dropped. He moved to the Tampa Bay area in 1983. At the time, the Regents experienced an average of 30 to 35 murders per year. A year after his arrival, this rate escalated dramatically, and murdered women were being found every other week. Murders. In 1984, he began an 8-month-long period of murder, with an average of 1 murder each week between March and November. He would drive around looking for suitable victims, often picking up prostitutes and women who were hanging out in seedy bars. He always made sure they were alone, and he later claimed that the women always approached him. The women would agree to get into his car, and he would take them back to an apartment. He would then tie them up with ligature collars and rope. After raping his victim, he would then kill them by strangulation, bludgeoning, or slitting their throat. When Long disposed of the bodies, he would pose them in bizarre and degrading positions, usually with their legs spread apart. The bodies were often found in the woods or near a rural roadside. Of the victims, 2 were exotic dancers, 5 were prostitutes, and 1 was a student. The occupation of the other victim was unknown. Timeline of known murders: March 27, 1984, artist Wick. May 4, 1984, Nguyen Tai Long, 20 years old. May 27, 1984, Michelle Simmons, 22 years old. June 8, 1984, Elizabeth Loudenbach, 22 years old. September 7, 1984, Vicky Elliott, 21 years old. September 30th, 1984, Chanel Devin Williams, 18 years old. October 7th, 1984, Kimberly Hops, 22 years old. October 13th, 1984, Karen Beth Dinsfriend. November 6, 1984, Virginia Johnson, 18 years old. November 10th, 1984, Kimberly Swan, 21 years old. November 16th, 1984, Vicky M. Elliott, 21 years old. Arrest and trial. A large amount of forensic evidence had been collected from the crime scenes, including carpet fibers, ligature marks, semen, and rope knots. These led to 3 warrants being issued for his arrest on suspicion of sexual battery and the kidnapping of Lisa McVeigh. He was arrested and charged on November 16, 1984. He confessed to the attack on McVeigh, but when the detectives began asking him about the other unsolved murder cases, he didn't want to answer their questions. They produced photos of the victims, and at this point, he said he needed an attorney. An attorney was never called, and he went on to confess to committing 8 murders. A plea bargain was reached, and on September 24, 1985, he pleaded guilty to all charges. Another trial for the murder of Michelle Simmons took place in July of 1986. This trial only lasted a week, and he was found guilty and sentenced to death. Outcome: in total, he received the following sentences: 1 5-year sentence, 4 99-year sentences, 28 life sentences, and 1 death sentence. He remained in prison until he was executed by lethal injection May 23, 2019 in Florida State Prison. He is believed to have more victims than his known victims.